told y'all, we got the game on lock. Crank Lucas, the rap deucer. Team Real Racing. Y'all already know we won. Off-road racing, quick as in the desert. To the finish line, passing through the checkers. It's Team Real, we just much better. When we on the track, we apply that pressure. People lined up screaming from the sideline. When they see the UT class fly by, or they see me in the truck doing drive-bys, in the Parker Dam or in the Baja. Every time you see me rolling through inside a buggy, and I'm counting up the money, cause I came to multiply it. Push a 1200 horsepower in the motor, you don't really wanna race me, I dare you to try it. Started up the engine, now my wheels on fire. Zooming through the track while I'm burning up the rubber. Better get them slow waves out of my water. You don't wanna see the shark or there's a crusher. It's Team Real, y'all know what the biz. Crank Lucas, and I'm spinning on the wheel. Doing 160, pass you so fast when the wind hits your body, get the chills. Telling everybody they can eat my dust, but I guarantee you won't beat my best. Pop a champagne when I'm at the finish line and I'm holding up the trophy and I beat my chest. What first place look like it's me? I don't do twos and I never met a three. People know the Team Real logo when I'm running through the desert and I'm running all through the streets. Never have to cap my race game tight. My vehicles can go all night. Foot up on the gas, I can never break right because I'm allergic to all the red lights. Team Real, Team Real. Everybody thinking that they faster till they gotta race. Team Real, Team Real. All about the speed and you can see it all up in my face. Team Real, Team Real. Real scared money don't make no money. It's Team Real, Team Real. Hit a motor rumble and the tires burning from the rubber. Team Real, Team Real. Everybody thinking that they faster till they gotta race. Team Real, Team Real. All about the speed and you can see it all up in my face. Team Real, Team Real. Real scared money don't make no money. It's Team Real, Team Real. Hit a motor rumble and the tires burning from the rubber.
You want to know what's going on in your dirt sports world? Whether it's four wheels, two wheels, Dirt Sports World's got you covered. From the dirt to the dunes, we bring you the latest action in racing, to lifestyle, the newest parts, the newest vehicles, and what the superstars of off-road are up to. Check out our social media for up-to-date information on Instagram, Facebook, Dirt Sports World, and more in depth, and check out the magazine at www.dirtsportsworld.com. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, Dirt Sports World, for some great videos. So make sure to follow us and come get dirty with us.
Once again, reigning supreme, Connor Barry, the three-time iRacing Short Course National Series champion.
One thing I would like to tell my competitors is the job is not done yet.
You can see that Luke Canutt wants to end the season on a high, did not want the fight to end like this.
Second place in the championship, but that's not over yet.
But the championship leaders banging and rubbing doors on the run towards the line. Oh. Connor Barry tried everything. Experience from the real world to the virtual as well, because then Dashley makes a mistake.
It's going to be a new Dashlette this year, so hopefully this means that I'll be running up front more.
and history made. Team Gold and Briley on top.
One thing I'd like to tell all the competitors for 2025 is watch out, Team Gold's coming.
The 2-year wait for victory lane may continue for Keaton Swain.
Winning is important. You know, I show up to win, so obviously winning is everything.
It's a blockbuster showdown as we roll our way into the hills of Michigan for the first Triple Crown event of the 2025 iRacing Short Course Pro 4 National Series, presented by Team Real Racing and APV Simulators. Welcome along to RaceSpotTV, our junior Keggy party, alongside the voice of off-road Dave Arnold in the broadcast booth. After a couple of weeks of interesting action to open up the championship, Dave, we get ready for this motocross-inspired format that you and I have loved since it was introduced last year.
Oh, definitely. The Triple Crown format is just going to be awesome. The points, they're going to just be jumping up there. Instead of the 1 points, we're going to be seeing a lot more jumping there. But it's all about getting those Triple Crown points, and especially kicking off here in Bark River, Michigan. Love it.
I found that shot of the car crashing just as we finished that intro section quite poignant, because I think that's what we're going to see plenty of over the course of an action-packed evening. Let's not forget, though, back-to-back weeks for the next couple of rounds, Firebird in 7 days' time, and then, midway point of the season, we hit the streets of Long Beach. But all focus, I think, in many ways on that Triple Crown format. Like Dave mentioned, special points formats to talk about. And so let's talk about the points coming into the night, and let's talk championship standings, because, well, Connor Barry, Keaton Swain, you expect them to be at the very top of the championship pile. Nicholas Dachelet, Luke Knupp, and Josh Edmondson hot on their heels.
Yeah, but look how close it is there with Luke Knupp back only 3 points off of Nicholas Dachelet out of third. And then you got Josh Edmondson, 49, Cody Winicki, 46, and Trenton Briley, 43. And then we go 42 for Countryman. Winkler's going to be 36, and Miller with 34. We're still pretty close. We're still early in the season. We're only going in the third round right now. So it could really be some big point implications coming in to start the Triple Crown, because we'll see those points really jump in this start.
Now, those points did include drop rounds of the championship. That's not something factored in here to the team side of the equation, where Channel 199 Sim Racing breaking out to a bit of an advantage, as I think maybe some would expect. I think the fight for second close between Team Gold and Factory Simsport Racecraft Academy, hoping to peek their way into that conversation as well. If you're wondering why we're running down through all of these points formats and whatnot, it's because let's talk to you about today's format. Qualifying moments away from getting underway, and Dave, the top 16 advance straight into the main event. The rest have to go through one of two LCQs, where only the top two in a 4-lap race advance to the main events.
And that's one thing that's so similar.
Might have lost Dave there. Technical issues flaring up on this Wednesday evening. But like he was about to say, it's what makes this format so unique. The fact that, A, got to get it done in qualifying to make it forward with ease. But then the fact, not one, not two, but 3 main events. And it's all about points accumulation. The driver that gets the most points across of 3 races, which do increase in length, by the way, 10, 12, and then 14 minutes for our 3 main events, will be scored as our winner. Now, points breakdown does say that it's going to be with the Olympic-style scoring system. First gets 1 point, second gets 2. I'll just let you in right now and tell you that our graphics on screen will show it as the winner getting more points than second place. It's just the only way that we can make that work behind the scenes. One more thing to talk about before we get into, well, on-screen action. It's our power rankings presented by the 2020-25 partners. Connor Barry does lead, but Luke Knupp's jumped 1 spot, as has Edmondson and Dachelet. Swain dropping down just by virtue of missing the last round of the championship. New, Van der Veer, Winicki, and Briley. We'll keep an eye out for them over the course of this Triple Crown event. Right. As mentioned, we'll get a look at the cars rolling around this wonderful Bark River International Raceway. 1.5 miles in length, of course. tied with Crandon as being the longest track available on iRacing for these short course machines. And there you get a sneak of the entry into the jumps and the left-hander. Technical circuit, that's for sure, and where we have seen the closest ever finish in iRacing short course national, iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. We did see some great racing here last year as well. I'm very much looking forward to this though, as qualifying gets ready to roll out onto track. Drivers will get the track to themselves, and just a handful of laps with which to work. So Arjuna Kankipati in the broadcast booth will hopefully get Dave Arnold back alongside sooner rather than later. The voice of off-road to bring all of that analysis and expertise that I could only wish to bring. So we'll see who decides to wait and who decides to roll instantly. This is Dennis Mikkelsen in the 41, the Team Rogue machine. They do have 10 full minutes and 4 laps, so plenty of time. Whoa, Mikkelsen gets high-sided on his way up towards the start-finish line and does not get that opening lap underway. Here's a look at Taylor Vandenbush in the Just a Trim car truck. Had that discussion. Is it a truck? Is it a car? Out towards the line. Here we go. First lap about to get underway. Launch it in the air. Right-hander through the opening corner. Couple of jumps then as we ride on board. This will give you a great perspective. You can see the hands at work as well. Let's listen in to the engine through this opening sector. Sideways on the landing as he enters in towards turn 6. It's been a relatively tidy lap. Whoop section runs you up towards this long left-hand sweeper. And now there's just 4 more corners to go. Up and over the jump. Committed entry as well. Remember, Pro 4 trucks, 900 horsepower or so, and all 4 wheels to power the machine forward. Oh, hits the wall. We'll see that plenty in the race itself. Saves it. That should invalidate the qualifying lap. It's a 1:11.225 from Dash LA to set the benchmark. And 6 or so off. And a lap that, as mentioned, will not count. As Nicholson's going to finish up the one that fell 3.90. Second attempt at getting it rolling. Works pretty well. Dash LA. Swain, Connor Barry, still waiting for them to make themselves known. And maybe even the likes of Matthew Lindy as Barry goes to the top, 1:11.033. Here's the Terminator, Tyson Miller. Factory Sim Sport number 90 also trying to make its way forward. Keaton Swain's gone up to second. 2/10 now between the front row. Edmondson to 4th in the Channel 199 car. Wes Graham's gone to 12th. Still don't have 16 times onto the board. And Tyson Miller bails before he gets to the line, so he might have brushed the wall as well. And like I mentioned, that gets you a 0x in the world of iRacing. Invalidates your lap time. Nicky up to 5th. Bumps Countryman down to 7th. We take a look at the Team Gold driver through the S's in this final part of the lap. Rips up against the wall, sideways in the air, but under control, I'd say. Keeps it tight. I think that's a good lap. Here he comes to the line, 1:11.3. And so that should move him up about 4 positions. Yep, up to 4th. Great lap there from Countryman. There, though. Red plates on the side of not just our defending champion, but points leader as well. Connor Barry, who is wearing his Mark 1 iRacing short course gloves, will hopefully take a look at his webcam as he bails off that lap at some point over the course of the day. If you want to use the promo code IRSC5 on the Mark 1 website, you can get 5% off. A big shout out to them for equipping not just Connor Barry, but Thad Countryman here as well, I do believe. Drake Mittag flies now on what is his fourth and final attempt in qualifying, so he's really going to have to make sure this one is the best. He's only 10th right now. He's on that bubble, you'd argue. It's 3 tenths between him and Christopher Plumley in 16th spot and on the cut line. Remember, top 16 advance directly to our main events. Everyone else goes through one of 2 LCQs coming up next on RaceSpotTV. Nice and tidy in the Impact Sim Sport. 18 for this event, by the way, has got a new number on the side of that machine. I mean, that looked good. What's the totality of the lap, though? 1.5 miles done and dusted for the 18. 11.745, so that's going to move him up to 8th position. Now, will it be enough? He will be waiting and watching for the rest of this race. Qualifying session, I should say. Meanwhile, Winkler in the 720, the Racecraft Academy entry. New logo for their team as well. Nice to see that. Lindy's up to 13th, by the way, so we do have now 27 times on the board. As many as 10 drivers still not represented either. Luke Knup's not there. Trenton Briley's not there. Brock Smith isn't on the board. Lots to keep an eye on. Winkler, you can see in VR where his eyes have been going. Heads pretty straight as he runs to the line. Tries to get as short a distance as possible. Does not improve, and that's his session done and dusted. For Cody Vanderveer, he's jumped into our top 10 in the power rankings. He's now up into our top 16. Hadley Boyce, 10th. Has demoted Adam McAfee out of the spots. Speaking of, we ride on board with the 818. But he's going to bail from that lap as well. I was just listening into that power application. Remember, 4-wheel drive as Luke Knupp finally on the board with his final attempt in qualifying. It will only be 9th for him. We'll have some work to do in our main events. Trenton Briley's down in 19th spot. What can he do through the final corner? Let's listen in once more through this last double left. Oh, well, I guess once you've crossed the line, it doesn't really matter too much, as Trenton Briley does not end up finding any improvement. He has to go through the LCQs. Here comes Josh Edmondson. Tyson Miller's just jumped to 7th as well, so times are flying in thick and fast. Channel 199 driver heads to turn number 6 here. .37 thousandths of a second between Barry and Swain at the top of the pylon. Doesn't get much closer than that. Edmondson having to work hard here. He's got one more lap after this if he wants to use it. Time is going to be the main thing working against him. He's got just about enough time. A lap here, remember, around 1 minute, 11 seconds. There's only 6 or so cars on the track right now. Here comes Edmondson to the line, head in his hands. The lap doesn't count. Oh my goodness. You could see the frustration. I couldn't quite figure out, though, why it got invalidated. Nicholas Dashley might be one of the final threats, though, as Connor Barry searches for another pole position. Nice in the air from the factory sim sport driver. Now just has to hook up 3 more corners. It's going to be different in the Pro 2 National Series later on this year when these drivers are going to have to be a little bit more technical, you'd argue. Matthew Lindy to 14, Dashley! Oh, 0.02 of a second. It's Connor Berry still on top. 3 drivers covered by a blink of an eye. Tyson Miller, one of the final drivers still on track. Although I don't think he's out there for a timed attempt. He's out there for a final practice lap. Matt Adams has just bailed, and that's it. Qualifying in the books. And could you script this? By 2/1000th of a second, he's already got 2 medals stacked up from this season. Connor Barry is searching for a 3rd win on the bounce as we get ready to rumble for our LCQs. He won't have to pick up the gloves anytime soon. He'll be waiting for our main events. There are some angsty drivers, though, that have some work to do. Eric Jones, Gavin Plummer, Adam McAfee, and Austin Schreiber. That's the front 2 rows before you get back to Tom Grady and Brent Smith. It's 12 cars in this opening of our LCQs. It'll be Joey Herbie, Taylor Vandenbush behind them, Kyle Cooper, Solomon Bershinger, and then Aiden Irvine and Rick Husman round out this opening of our B mains. Well, I need to take a bit of a breath. I am blown away. If that's what we're in store for when we get our main events rolling, it's going to be a blockbuster. Just trying to confirm, by the way, we will not have an invert for the first main event, so it will be Connor Barry that starts from pole position when we get underway later on. We will have an invert of 8 for main number 2, I believe, and then 4 for main 3. We'll confirm that before each, though, of our main events. Pace car rolls off and away. 4 laps on the board. Not much time here at Bark River. I'm looking forward to this one. Glad to have your company on RaceSpotTV. Arjuna Kankipani in the broadcast booth. Hoping we get Dave Arnold back alongside the voice of off-road sooner rather than later, because wow, oh wow, we've been waiting for this. Yes, I've been also waiting for us to hit the halfway mark of this season, for us to make our way over to the streets of Long Beach, but this was one circled as well. First of our Triple Crown outings. Slightly unique format, of course. So remember, 2 drivers to advance from this. There's only 10 trucks that have rolled off and away, just as an FYI. So 8 will be watching from the sidelines. 2 will have a chance at Triple Crown glory. There's only been 5 drivers to have won a main event in our short course National Series Triple Crown history. Only Luke Knupp and Connor Barry have ever won a Triple Crown event overall. These drivers know what they want to do. They want to be part of that fight. Green flag flies for the first time tonight. There's going to be plenty of action. Already sideways and losing spots as Gavin Plummer. They're going to be 3 wide in the air through turn number 1. We ride on board with Tom Grady. Now the 3 wide action cycles and shuffles slightly further behind. It's a tidy start, all things considered. Remember, cut line is going to be the top 2. Jones and McAfee in the hot seats right now. Tom Grady, the one that's got to put the pressure on. Green line on the left side of the screen will help you keep an eye on that. Nicely done there from Eric Jones on the start to control the pace. Been a bit more chaos behind. Taylor Vandenbush and Kyle Cooper might have lost some ground on these drivers. Behind Tom Grady, Plummer and Schreiber rubbing doors off to the S's. Fiberglass goes flying. And as we wrap back around to end the opening lap, it's going to be Eric Jones who has broken away from Adam McAfee in the 818. Battle for that final transfer is where the eyes are all focused right now. 5:35. Puts himself in the tire tracks, attempts to follow. A little bit of contact, it's what I was waiting for. McAfee gets pushed out wide, And while Grady gets back alongside momentarily, what this really does allows Plummer and Scheiber to close the margin. That was a terrible run for Tom Grady as well. Despite all of that, Eric Jones has not broken away too much more through the whoops. Look backwards from Grady. Sometimes can be difficult to decide when you want to be aggressive in these sort of situations. Gavin Plummer, 2024 Mod Kart World Champion out of Plover, Wisconsin. Ooh, gonna get physical with Grady. There's a long way around. That's confidence, but you have to rely on the driver not slide jobbing back up into your path. There was definite contact between the two there. Fortunate that Scheiber doesn't trip over the both of them. Through all of that, McAfee's given a bit more breathing room. Ooh, unsettled there was Grady through turn one. We do have race control keeping an eye on all things going on. At least right now. Not necessarily thinking there's going to be much to focus on at the very front of the field. I want to give a shout out to one of our new partners for 2025, Boozy Jerky. You can use the code iRacing Short Course. That's iRacing Short Course, all spelled out in full at boozyjerky.com. Head over there to learn a little bit more as well. The gap at the front of the field as we cycle over to the last lap of this race. Still holds it around a second. Eric Jones and Adam McAfee doing exactly what they needed to do. From pole and third respectively. 1.5 miles between them and our Triple Crown main event for Grady, Plummer, Scheiber, Smith, Herbie. Time is running down for them to make something happen. Taylor Vandenbush is sitting in pit lane and waiting, just an FYI. So whatever happened out on track, significant enough to bring him down to pit lane. Wow. Once McAfee had that pressure released, he was able to get the afterburners turned to the max. Now a couple of car lengths between him and the race leader. In that virtual reality cockpit as well, let's not forget. Listen in to the throttle over the jump. Foot to the floor, committed as you'd like. Austin Scheiber's had a spill behind, but it's all outside of the fight for transfer positions. Smooth sailing for Eric Jones, who will take the victory in LCQ number 1. Iridium Synsports 502, slip and slide through the final corner. Adam McAfee in close pursuit. They make it to the main events. The rest of the field, day is done, and a short day to say the least. We've got one more of these races to come, let's not forget. 2 more drivers to advance and join Jones and McAfee in our totaling 36 odd minutes of racing coming up later on. Grady, Plummer, Herbie, Smith, Scheiber, Borschinger, and then Cooper finish on the lead lap, but all unfortunately are going to be watching the main events from the sideline. For Vandenbush, disappointment. Let's take a look at the starting grid for LCQ2, where, once again, some big names, including the likes of Christopher Plumley and Matt Adams on the front row, and Trenton Briley and Luke Sofrit on row number 2. Dennis Mickelson and Keith Jeffrey line up behind them, with then 7th going the way of Wes Graham, 8th for Christian Noble, Jeff Ives, Fuat Boran, Brock Smith, Austin Bolson, making up the 12 machines that will roll once more. Our race control team gonna quickly key up on the microphone and get a confirmation that everyone's ready to go. And we'll be rolling in just a few moments' time. Again, thank you so much for your company. The first Triple Crown event of the season, and maybe fittingly also the first of our triple headers. We've got 3 back-to-back rounds of our championship coming up. And so we're looking forward to keeping you entertained. Next week, we will be making our way out to Firebird Motorsports Park. That's always going to trip me up. Calling it Firebird and not Wild Horse. And then, end of the month, it's off to the streets of Long Beach. And actually, I lied. It's not 3 rounds in a row. Make it 4. Because the week after that, we are off to the Wild West Motorsports Park. And that will be 6 rounds of our championship done. April the 2nd is also going to be the next time that we go racing with this Triple Crown event format. That's going to be lots of fun, to say the least. The next time, the final time we have the Triple Crown format used, the penultimate round of the season on May the 14th. Looking forward to what hopefully is a round of the championship with some championship implications. Right, ready to rumble. Our second and final LCQ of the night. Pace truck already off and away. We've got 3 more corners before the green flag drops and the field is let loose. It's always interesting here at Bark River as well. Pole sitter is technically on the outside coming towards the start-finish line. It converts the inside, though, up to the opening corner. So, we have seen in the past, second place can get decent jumps if they play the game as smart a way as possible. Right, here we go. 11 trucks have rolled off and away. And now the field left in control of Christopher Plumley. Caught napping, though, slightly further behind. And Matt Adams already passed by Trenton Briley as well. Great start from the top 2 to now control the point. Factory SimSport Team Gold's going to be very, very happy with that. I mean, Christian Noble, that's a busy cockpit going on. Triple screens in front of him. And then, oh yeah, that 4th one up as well, with seemingly the broadcast up on his screen too. It's a great view, though, as Noble gets involved, gets some contacts, and now flips. Our first flip of the day. It's the boozy jerky entry as well. We'll have a chat with Christian in our break between main events and ask him how that ride really was. Pushing and shoving as Mickelson and Adams battle for 3rd and 4th positions. This is just behind that final spot in the transfers cut. Let's not forget. Whoa. Fan out 3 abreast. They're 3 wide now for 4th, 5th, and 6th positions. Safrit Jeffrey joining the battle against Matt Adams, who's really involved in a fight. And from 2nd to flipping, Matt Adams goes up and over. Channel 199 Sim Racing entry stricken now through the final corners. My goodness. We knew these races would be physical. Now the top 2 hoping they can avoid any such drama moving forward. So Plumley and Briley looking pretty comfortable. It's an interesting line from Keith Jeffrey there. I thought he might get a slowdown. Almost bucked himself in the air there. That was all sorts of cattywampus around. Wow. Back on board we ride with the Channel 199 machine. Hear the throttle penduluming around as he works his way over the jumps and bumps. A bit of contact there from Wes Graham. Now trying the crisscross, but locked off nicely. Some good heart racing further back in the pack. Fight for 3rd is getting quite intense as well, as Luke Safrit in the 228 lost part of the right rear, it would look, in terms of fiberglass. Sit on board of the roof of the Iridium SimSport machine. Remember, top 2 advance. We've had 16 make their way forward from qualifying, so that's the importance of being able to get it done over just the 1 lap and maybe having a setup that works for just that 1 lap as well. Reminder that these drivers are going to start at the tail end of our field as well, so I believe Christopher Plumley was going to line up 18th. Trenton Briley would line up 20th. No invert for our first main event. There's a invert of 8 for main event number 2 and an invert of 4 for our final main event. So the results of each previous race get used and slightly mixed up at the front of the field. Basically guarantees that the same driver can't qualify on pole and lead from the front for every single lap of action that we have. That's a worry there, almost cutting a bit too much for Sifrit in the 228. Briley's going to feel a bit of pressure, though, on this final lap. Plumley has been able to advance his way forward down the road enough that he's comfortable. Dennis Mickelson in that team road car. What surprises does he have left? We've got the long left-hander after the whoops. And then 3 more switchback hairpins after that. Going to be close, but maybe not close enough for Mickelson. Unless there's a mistake from Briley in these final couple of corners. It'll be Factory Simsport and Team Gold somewhat relieved. Keith Jeffries in some trouble further behind, but up front smiling that they've survived the dramas. It'll be Christopher Plumley. It will be Trenton Briley. Here at Bark River, advancing to our main events. Behind, there are some drivers still squabbling on the way to the line as Wes Graham tried to hold on to 5th position. But ultimately, as Brock Smith throws the car through the air, it is all in vain. A confirmation of our results. Plumley, Briley to move forward with Dennis Mickelson, Luke Sifrit, and then Wes Graham, Jeff Ive, Brock Smith, Keith Jeffrey, Christian Noble, Fouad Baran, Matt Adams as well, not moving their way on forward. Well, I'm not quite sure exactly what to expect right now. I think this is confirmation of how they will line up, but we're not going to get underway with the racing just yet. So Connor Barry, Nicholas Dashley, there was 2 thousandths between the 2 of them when we came to the end of the qualifying session. They'll be on the front row when we eventually get underway. Tell you what, while we switch sessions and get our main events ready and on deck, let's see if we can dive into chat with a couple of our drivers. I know at least one person that we were hoping to have a chat with is Christian Noble from Boozy Jerky. He joins us now. Christian, do you hear us in the broadcast booth?
I got you loud and clear. How about me?
Got you loud and clear as well. Well, interesting ride in that LCQ. Talk to us about the racing out there in Bark River.
What a race. That's why I turn off my my motion rig during those kind of races, because you didn't want to see me beat my head around. That was a rough one.
Talk to us a little bit about Boozy Jerky as well. We're so happy to have you on board as a partner of the iRacing Short Course Series. So tell us a bit more about the company.
No, I'm enjoying it. I appreciate companies coming on board like this. So if I can't make it into the main, hey, I'll just bribe you guys with some jerky to come up in the booth and talk about it. So yeah, these are great companies coming on board just to help the racers out. They partner with some good companies as well. So we got great companies coming on board just to support the racers. If you don't know already, there's a discount code, iRacing Short Course. Use that on Boozy Jerky to get you some jerky and check it out.
Yeah, I'll have to save that for after the broadcast, though, that's for sure. Tell us a little bit about the virtual world as well. For those that are maybe new to the world of iRacing Short Course, we always talk about how realistic these trucks are and how great the racing is. You've had plenty of experience out there in the Lucas Oil Off-Road Series. How much fun do you have just jumping here into the sim world and having some fun?
Yeah, I'm still new to the series. I'm a rookie, so this is all a learning curve for me. I've enjoyed it. I've got some great team members that have been the Short Course Series. I used to race in the UTV Pro Turbo class, and And after giving that up, moving over to iRacing has been a really cool outlet for me. It's been a lot of fun, but like I said, a steep learning curve. These guys, I'm just happy to be racing with the top 40 guys in the world. These guys are fast, and I'm learning a lot. So it's been a lot of fun.
I'm glad I get to hide up here in the broadcast booth. That's for sure. Last question before we let you go and watch the main events that we've got coming up. This format is so unique, right? And I love it in terms of the world of short course. We're bringing a little bit of that motocross over. What do you think it does in terms of our championship fights as well, right? Because this is going to be a format, I mentioned it during one of the LCQs, that we have in our penultimate round of the championship. So I'm really hoping it plays a big part in determining our championship winner. Christian, do you still hear us loud and clear?
I do. I still hear you. So this is a really neat opportunity for really exciting racing. They makes everything really close, and these guys are going to battle it out. I'm excited to watch.
Awesome. Well, Christian, thanks for coming and joining us in the broadcast booth. Glad to have you as part of our national series here for 2025.
Hey, once again, thank you to all you guys at what you do, the admin team for putting on these races, you guys in the booth, and like I said, the sponsors for coming on board and helping us out.
And remember, 15% off using the code iRacing Short Course. That's on boozyjerky.com. So make sure you head over there and get yourself some boozy jerky. Well, we got a couple of minutes before we get racing in our main events. Plenty of action to come here on RaceSpotTV. Arjuna Kankipati in the broadcast booth. Dave Arnold still working to try and get back alongside me. We're going to step aside. We'll be back here with more on-track action in the world of iRacing Short Course. A little bit more. We've got a couple more corners to go. All Trenton Briley's thinking right now, let me keep my car placed exactly where it needs to be, and a first race victory could be headed in my direction. Behind is a championship mindset from Luke Knupp. Is he thinking, I've got to grab the victory? Is he thinking, I just need to make sure I get points onto the board? The Team Gold Machine's going to slide its way through the final couple of corners, and a first race win for Trenton Briley in the iRacing National Short Course Series. A punch of the fist, and history made. Team Gold and Briley on top.
And it was like getting a monkey off your back and a huge weight lifted off your shoulders. I've been really close many times, but I think, what brought me to finally getting over the hump and getting that checkered flag is the team that I've built and the people I brought on to help, take me over to the next level and put all the pieces together to make it happen.
Told y'all, we got the game on lock. Crank Lucas the rap deucer. Team Real Racing. Y'all already know we won. Off-road racing, quick as in the desert. To the finish line, passing through the checkers. It's Team Real, we just much better. When we on the track, we apply that pressure. People lined up screaming from the sideline. When they see the UT class fly by, or they see me in the truck doing drive-bys, in the Parker Dam or in the Baja. Every time you see me rolling through inside a buggy, and I'm counting up the money, cause I came to multiply it. Push a 1200 horsepower in the motor, you don't really wanna race me, I dare you to try it. Started up the engine, now my wheels on fire. Zooming through the track while I'm burning up the rubber. Better get them slow waves out of my water. You don't wanna see the shark or there's a crusher. It's Team Real, y'all know what the biz. Crank Lucas and I'm spinning on the wheel. Do a 160, pass you so fast when the wind hits your body, get the chills. Telling everybody they can eat my dust, but I guarantee you won't beat my best. Pop a champagne when I'm at the finish line and I'm holding up the trophy and I beat my chest. What first place look like it's me? I don't do twos and I never met a three. People know the team real logo when I'm running through the desert and I'm running all through the streets. Never have to cap my race game tight. My vehicles can go all night. Foot up on the gas, I can never brake right because I'm allergic to all the red lights. Team real, team real. Everybody thinking that they faster till they got a race. Team real. All about the speed and you can see it all up in my face. Team real. Real scared money don't make no money. It's team real. Hit them on the rumble and the tires burning from the rubble. Team real. Everybody thinking that they faster till they got a race. Team real. All about the speed and you can see it all up in my face. Team real. Real scared money don't make no money. It's team real. Hit them on the rumble and the tires burning from the rubble.
You want to know what's going on in your dirt sports world? Whether it's four wheels, two wheels, Dirt Sports World's got you covered. From the dirt to the dunes, we bring you the latest action in racing, to lifestyle, the newest parts, the newest vehicles, and what the superstars of off-road are up to. Check out our social media for up-to-date information on Instagram, Facebook, Dirt Sports World, and more in depth, and check out the magazine at www.dirtsportsworld.com. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, Dirt Sports World, for some great videos. So make sure to follow us and come get dirty with us.
Once again, reigning supreme, Connor Barry, the three-time iRacing Short Course National Series champion.
One thing I would like to tell my competitors is the job is not done yet.
You can see that Luke Canutt wants to end the season on a high, did not want the fight to end like this.
Second place in the championship, but that's not over yet.
But the championship leaders banging and rubbing doors on the run towards the line.
Whoa.
Connor Barry tried everything. Experience from the real world to the virtual as well, because then Dashley makes a mistake.
It's going to be a new Dashlette this year, so hopefully this means that I'll be running up front more.
And history made! Team Gold and Briley on top.
One thing I'd like to tell all the competitors for 2025 is watch out, Team Gold's coming.
The 2-year wait for victory lane may continue for Keaton Swain.
Winning is important. You know, I show up to win, so obviously winning is everything.
unique night with 3 chances to win, 1 chance to enter victory lane. Welcome along to the iRacing Short Course National Series Pro 4 as we dive into our Triple Crown main event. Our Junior Kangi party in the broadcast booth, still hoping Dave Ardenal gets his technical issue sorted. He rejoins me, but let's dive into the grid for main event number 1. 16 drivers made it from qualifying, 4 from our LCQs. Barry and Dashley split by 2 thousandths when qualifying was done and dusted. Keaton Swain and Cody Winicki will line up behind them. Thad Countryman, Josh Edmondson, 5th and 6th positions, with 7th going the way of Tyson Miller, one of 4 drivers in this field to have won a Triple Crown race, but not a Triple Crown overall win. Sean Winkler will be alongside with Brody Desure and Luke Knupp rounding out the top 10. New colours for Knupp that we'll talk about through the night. Mittag and Boyce will be on row number 6, 13th, and hopefully not unlucky for the Shenandoah Shine of Crystal King. Matthew Lindy rolls for company. Evan McFarlane, Cody Vanderveer, 15th and 16th, with Eric Jones and Christopher Plumley rolling from row 9. Bookending the top 20, it's Adam McAfee and Trenton Briley. Ignore Aiden Irvine and Fouad Baran. They won't be out there when we go racing. Drivers have been sent. Now the tension builds in the air. As I mentioned, 4 drivers have won races in our Triple Crown events in the past. Connor Barry, Luke Knupp, Dane Culver, Tyson Miller, and Keaton Swain. Only Luke Knupp and Connor Barry have ever won Triple Crown events overall. Luke Knupp is searching for his 3rd Triple Crown win. Connor Barry hoping to tie Knupp's current 2 wins at the top of the stat sheet. As mentioned, over the course of the evening, in these main events, drivers accumulate points, so while 3 race winners will emerge, only the driver with the most points will enter victory lane. And hypothetically, that might not be even a driver that wins a race. We'll have an invert for the 2nd race, an invert for the 3rd race. It's short course like you've never seen it before. Here in the rolling hills of Michigan, the home of the closest ever finish in the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series, we're ready to go for round 3 in the 2025 Pro 4 National Series. Barry's in control, Dashley's alongside. Let's go! Good start from Dashley. He's going to hold on to 2nd. Battle for 3rd. We'll see Keaton Swain slot into line. Long left-hander coming as they run up through the bulb. Single file. Contact from Dashley to Barry. And now it stacks up further behind. 3 abreast over the jump for the first time. Josh Edmondson backed out of that. So Winicki and Countryman bumper to bumper now in the air. Remarkable to say. A nice start, with the exception of Matthew Lindy, who did not take to the green from what we can see. Technical issues for him. Luke Knupp trying to fight his way forward. 3 wide, 4 wide, stacking up behind. Oh, and Knupp's left on the outside here. Hits the wall. He gathers it back under control, but he's now down in 15th spot. And for a championship contender, going the wrong direction already. Slide out through the final 2 left-handers. Barry leads by 6/10 or so. Swain, Winicki, Countryman, the rest of the top 5. Our Matthew Lindy fans in chat will be disappointed to have heard about that technical issue. We'll see if he does get a chance to join for 2nd and 3rd main events of the night. Fallon and Boyce battling. Plumley and Knupp are fighting as well. It's definitely not where Luke Knupp wants to be in his brand new APV simulator entry. He's gone for a nice little blue tinge for the truck for the rest of the season. Almost cattywampus on the landing there. Jones and Briley squabbling behind as we sit on board now with the driver of the number 5. Winkler's getting a bit of a push there from Vanderveer into the final 3 corners. Knupp finds a door. Means there's no second invitation. plants himself on the right rear of Winkler, who's now got to watch as the 59, or the 159 rather, of Van der Veer is there as well. Can see how loose they get through the whips. Briley tries to sneak up the inside of the plum entry. Not happening. This is a great fight at the tail end of the field. And guess what? No fights at the front right now. It's single file as you would like. Or as the drivers would like, I should say. This is what we were wishing was happening at the front of the field. Maybe quite remarkably as well, even with all of this fighting, they haven't lost too much time. Oh, Briley sees that coming, takes advantage to pass Van der Veer up the inside. That's great heads up. Racecraft on display. Although, then forced out wide through the whoops on entry in towards turn 7. Loses out as a result of that. That was the Californian, Cody Van der Veer. All of the left-handers left to go. This now, Andy McCaffrey at the very tail end of the pack after making it through the LCQs. But remember, we do have a top 8 invert for this next main event that's incoming, and so that means that Drake Mittag is actually in the hot seat. We've got Brody DeSure, Evan McFarlane not far behind. Hadley Boyce just outside the top 10. Really interesting just watching them in the air on the run down to turn 6. Some drivers a bit more controlled. It's probably the fair way to say it. Quite interesting maybe to take a peek with Connor Barry for a lap and just keep an eye on that. Big shout out again to our title sponsors for 2025 APV simulators alongside Team Real Racing. You can use the 2 promo codes on boozyjerky.com. iRacing short course on was very, very close there for Drake Mittag. Not sure how close he will want to get involved in this fight, I would argue. Got to be careful. And then if you want to go onto Mach1racegear.com, you can use the promo code IRSC5 for 5% off. So big shout out to our partners for supporting the world of sim racing here in 2025. Our Mittag will love this as DeSure and McFarlane wheel to wheel between them. That gap's grown. Just a couple more car lengths up to Mittag, exactly what he wanted at this point in time. Pat Simsport for Drake Mittag out of Temecula, California. Which is not just a great place, seemingly, for racing talent in the world of short course. Ooh, there we go, action behind. Knupp and Plumley switch spots. Crystal King from 13th on the grid, let's not forget. Now alongside in this fight further behind. But yeah, Temecula, not just known for great racing talent, but also home of former UFC, I guess, champion at one point, maybe. Forget off the top of my head, Dan Henderson. So we've had a UFC fighter join us, an active UFC fighter as well, for Racecraft Rallycross in the past. So just interesting to see there's some overlap. Bad Countryman, there's physical action as Josh Edmondson bullies his way past the number 26. Edmondson, who's been able to grab 1 position now since the start of this race. And no movement inside of the top 7 outside of that 1 pass. Drake Mittag has gained 3 positions. Evan McFarlane has gained 5 spots. So some decent movement from them. Christopher Plumley's also got +5 next to his name here in the first of our 3 main events. Remember, We accumulate the points after the 3 main events are done. That's how our main event winner is determined. So Connor Barry is on course right now to win his 4th Triple Crown race. However, that does not mean the night is done by any means. He will drop back to 8th at the start of main number 2, which will go from 10 minutes to 12 minutes. Our final main event will invert the top 4 from the results of main event 2, and we'll add 2 more minutes onto the clock for a total of 14 minutes of racing. So 36 minutes in total for the drivers to compete with. And as we were talking about with Christian Noble, it's a different form of racing that these drivers have got to find their way through. Track evolution's probably playing its part as well as we lay that blue groove down. Ooh, Countryman almost overdoes it. Open the door for Tyson Miller to close up to him. Remember, Tyson Miller has won one of these Triple Crown races before. He'll be in a great spot to do it again from the outside of the front row. Evan McFarlane's dropped down the running order and now sits in pit lane to troubles for the KES Industries 444. As the laps tick away, we will see 1 more to go when the leaders cross the line. Where is Connor Barry right now? He is out through turn 6, if you're wondering. This is the replay. Ooh. Now that's odd. Usually we see drivers hit the wall on the outside and things go wrong. That was a bit too committed from McFarlane. Maybe his visibility compromised from the machines in front of him. Nevertheless, out of the final few corners, 1 more lap to go. It will be white flag in hand as Connor Barry looks for what would be a victory on the road, but ultimately it's more about the points here in this Triple Crown format going his way. Fight behind Keaton Swain. That's closed up to the back of Nicholas Dachelet. Great to see Swain back in action. It's the last round of the championship for those that weren't with us. Someone's got to bring it up at some point, and there's only one person in this broadcast booth right now. So I guess I'll have to bring it up. Let's not forget that it has been a long time since Keaton Swain entered victory lane. I'm not going to say how many days it is, that it's going on, 3 years and counting. So he is determined to win. And given that he missed the last round of the championship, he's really got to get it done at some point this season because he's used up his drop round. One of these rounds of every championship can be dropped. For Connor Barry, he's hoping just to continue being up front. 2 medals behind him, searching for a 3rd one this season. He wins the first main event from Bark River. 2.6 seconds, the gap back to Nicholas Dachelet, Keaton Swain, Cody Winicki, and Josh Edmondson, the rest of the top 5. Drake Mittag holds on to the inverted pole for our 2nd main event. So he'll have a great opportunity to grab a checkered flag in 12 minutes of action. So yeah, lots to talk about as we grab a look at the race results. 2.6 the margin between Barry as he runs away from Nicholas Dachelet. Keaton Swain hot on the heels of the factory SimSport teammate, but never really looking like he was going to make the move in time. Cody Winicki 4th in the Impact SimSport number 9. Then Josh Edmondson rounds up the top 5 with that countryman Tyson Miller and Drake Mittag, an important 8th for him. Brody DeShure and then Sean Winkler. That's the top 10 out on track with Hadley Boyce, Christopher Plumley, Luke Canuck, Crystal King, Cody Vanderveer, Trenton Briley, Eric Jones, and Adam McAfee at the back of the field. Evan McFarlane and Matthew Lindy 19th and 20th as well. And so invert the top 8. Mittag, Miller, Countryman, Edmondson, Winicki, and Swain. Front 3 rows, and then get back to Dachelet and Barry. The rest are as they finish, so DeShure, Winkler, and Boyce and Plumley will roll through the graphic. You'll see all the names and the faces up on screen. There should be no surprises for anyone in the field of 20 that gets ready to go once again. And ignore Fouad Baran. Once more, only 20 to head out, although it does not look as though Matthew Lindy has got his technical issues resolved in time. He is done for the night. So, race control having their quick chat with all the drivers before we send our second main of the night out and away. There's Drake Mittag at TCR driver. Camera placed uncomfortably, some would say. What's he hiding behind the blur? There's always a nosy person in the broadcast booth, unfortunately. Right, let us know in chat who you're here cheering for, where you're watching from, as we get set and get ready to go. That last race was what, I think 9 laps? So 2 extra minutes, maybe 1, maybe 2 extra laps. It will all depend on when the leader crosses the line. But expect 10 laps in this one. 2 more minutes of racing in the third and final main event, which is yet to come. As drivers get ready to rumble for the second time today. In many cases, a few of these drivers did have to race in an LCQ. Those drivers had 4 extra laps of racing as compared to the rest of the competitors. That's not much to speak of, though. Luke Canuck fan in chat. I see a Brody DeSure fan in our chat as well. DeSure rolling off, of course, in 9th position. Canuck's got some work to do from 13th. It's not the most coordinated of 2x2 formations, if we're being honest with one another right now. I think they'll get back into the coordination a little bit more as they head off to the start zone. Green flag in hand. Lindy has managed to get his technical issues resolved. So as we get underway, 19 on track right now. Drake Mittag lead through the opening corner. The Terminator tag from behind. They stack up. They avoid making contact. And now let's not forget, green line on the left of your screen. Top 4 invert for main event number 3. Miller and Countryman through the opening corner. Very close quarters combat. And now keep an eye on them as they run up toward the jump. Miller's feeling that pressure. To the inside, here comes the look. Long right-hand hairpin. Countryman's not going to be able to get alongside. Through the whoop section now they go. Connor Barry's already gained 2 positions since the start of this race. Luke Canuck's +2 as well. Make that 3. He's inside of the top 10. Countryman, well, for a second I thought he was going to get it done, but watch them off the final corner. Edmondson joins the action. Swain's there as well. But it's all behind the breakaway leader, Drake Mittag. He'll be loving what he sees right now. Connor Barry and Keaton Swain are door-to-door out through the opening corner. That's the fight for 5th and 6th position. 1 off the transfer. I think Barry's got it done as well. Indeed he has. Luking up now past Brody DeSure. Make that 4 spots gain for the number 5. Really wants to make sure that new livery gets showcased here today. Someone in chat saying Brent Smith's going to come out of nowhere to win this one. Yes, indeed. That would be like the Undertaker out of nowhere. Out wide again. Terminator struggling right now. Josh Edmondson can't get alongside. All this as Connor Barry looms in the rearview mirrors. Cue the Jaws music, I'd argue. Lap 2 complete. Thad Countryman has gotten to the task of closing on Drake Mittag. We'll get a better lap time representation this time by half a second gained by the 26. Countryman's on the move. Whether it's Countryman or Mittag, if either one of them grabs the victory in this main event, it would be their very first victory in the Triple Crown format as well. I'm just digging into the stat books right now. Drake Mittag, I believe, has a victory in the regional series. Does not have a victory yet in the national series, so that would be a first for him as well. As it looks on the stat sheet, it does not look as though Thad Countryman has won at all in the iRacing National Series. We know how quick he can be. That gap at the front's going to come down another 4/10, it would seem. Attention does have to be placed on 4th and 5th, where Edmondson now tries to pass Tyson Miller. Pushed out wide. The Terminator turns Edmondson. Barry runs into the rear end of the 90, who's now off on the left side of the track. Barry to 3rd, Swain to 4th. Winicki sits now in 5th, with Dashley making his move on the action. The craziness that is short course racing. And out of nowhere, like the Undertaker, rising from the ashes, Luke Canup has gone from 13th to 5th. What a start to main event number 2. For that number 5, watching behind as Dashley, Winicki and Brody DeShore 3 abreast off of turn 7. Plumley gets the elbows out and tries to bully Nicholas Dashley down towards turn number 10. Some great racing. We're about to finish lap 4. Drake Mittag has been caught, though, by Thad Countryman. So everywhere you look, there is racing right now. One wonders, can Connor Barry get back to the front of this field? Is that a mistake from Mittag? Did he slide a bit wide? Yes, the answer is yes. Countryman sticks his nose up the inside, and through turn 4, lead switches hand. Top right of the screen. Those are the live points for this Triple Crown event. A position is worth a point. Connor Barry is 3 points clear of both Keaton Swain and Thad Countryman. I think Mittag's maybe won his truck maybe a bit too hard in these early stages, or maybe the balance has fallen away from him. He'll be in the clutches of Barry sooner rather than later. Around the outside, that's brave though from Plumley. Makes it work. He's got the Terminator behind him through this as well. Tyson Miller has rejoined the track down in 10th. It's a shame Dave Arnold has not been able to get his technical issues resolved, because there is something about Bark River. The contact. Sean Winkler runs into the back of Miller. We've got Hadley Boyce and Matthew Lindy watching from the sidelines in this second main event. Crystal King was involved in something. She's down in 18th, last on track. And Josh Edmondson just in front of her as well after his little tangle with the number 90. So 5 or so minutes left to run. Bull running in with a head of steam down to turn 6. Behind Adam McAfee was Cody Vanderveer. Team Gold versus Racecraft Academy. Riley and McAfee are alongside of one another, the two teammates. Careful to leave each other plenty of room. McAfee sends it deep. That was, I don't think, never really going to work out. Driver's going higher and higher, though, on the cushion through turn 10. Running to the wall as the dirt has just moved around. Fiberglass flapping on the side of McAfee. That's the one again. Once again, the benefits of the sim world. At the end of each of these races, your damage bill is 0 and you get a fresh car. Don't know if Connor Barry has got enough time to close all the way up to Thad Countryman and get back to the lead of this race. Second is very much up for grabs. He's closed up to Drake Mittag in the TCR truck. See those two medals behind Connor Barry as well. Each race winner this season in the National Series will get one of those. Barry swept the victory so far, swept the medals as well. Little lift there, feather of the throttle, avoiding running into the side of the 18. Just see how calm he is behind the wheel. And also see those Mark 1 race gear gloves. Mark1racegear.com. Use the promo code IRSC5 to get 5% off your order. So it should be 2 laps to go next time by, I think. Connor Barry looks to try and make the move, but that's as respectful as you can be. Avoids any sort of contact with the truck in front of him, but now the door's open just by a mistake. Out of turn 7. Connor Barry in the 2 is up to second. Championship leader has got the red plates on the side of his machine. Let's see. 2 laps to go. Is it going to be 3? It is close. I think the lead across the line with 2:27. I think that means we will get 3 laps to go. 11 laps in this race. If they had been 6 seconds slower on the first lap, we would have had 1 less lap. That's how these races can shift. On the bottom, you're watching the fight behind. Nicholas Dachelet, Cody Winicki, Christopher Plumley there as well. Keaton Swain and Luke Canuck might end up fighting for that 4th position, inverted pole for main event number 3. Keep an eye on that. Plumley's made a great move on Cody Winicki though. Down to turn 6 over the jump. Locks the door off on the inside. Forces now the move to go back to the inside. Plumley's been on a tear. That makes now 5 moves in the second main event. Connor Barry is 2 seconds away from the race leader, so not going to have enough time, even with what is a confirmed 2 laps to go. The white flag is not out for your race leader right now. So there's still 3 miles of action left to go. Keaton Swain has got enough of a gap back to Luke Canuck. Is he going to want to try and grab that extra point for finishing in front of Mittag? Might feel that starting in second is worth that extra point. Does not feel like it's as bad of a compromise as maybe some other competitors would. Sim Coaches 21's closer and closer every single corner. Pressure's building, but not on Thad Countryman. Oop, there goes Trenton Briley with a bit of an issue. Swain's right there, though, as we get ready to see the white flag. The clock's ticking down. 1 more lap to go as we get ready to strike 0. What's going through the mind? You can only wonder. Drake Mittag's quick, we know that, but he's got one of the quickest behind him. A look at the APV simulator machine and the driver behind the wheel. Luke Canuck has made a remarkable 8 positions in this race. 1 more would get him to pole position for main event 3. He bangs against the wall, but in front of him, Swain makes his move. Now around the outside of 7. long way around. We've seen drivers stick it up the inside and make it 3 wide. Knupp does not have that opportunity. What a move from Keaton Swain, though. The patience to finally get it done. Out of nowhere, Luke Knupp's going to make his presence known, though. He wants that 4th spot. That countryman's going to grab his very first win. And the Triple Crowns, oh, as Luke Knupp's ran up into the wall. Take a bow, countryman up front. In the Team Gold 26, victorious here. Drake Mittag, Luke Knupp, contact between the two sees the 18 hold on to 4th. But Luke Knupp's fight back sees him in 5th, not far away. It's down to 3 points at the top. Remember, this next race will determine our first Triple Crown winner of the season. A contact on that opening lap enabled countryman to break away. 1.6 seconds the advantage at the end as Connor Barry reeled him in that Channel 199 sim racing machine. That's the first time this season Barry has not finished first, although Keaton Swain, Drake Mittag, Luke Knupp will all involved in some pretty intense fighting. Mittag on inverted pole, let's not forget, with Brody DeShore climbing his way up to 6th in front of Cody Winicki, and then the factory SimSport duo of Plumley and Dashalet. Sean Winkler rounds out the top 10. Tyson Miller, Adam McAfee, Evan McFarlane, Cody Vanderveer, and then Eric Jones, Trenton Briley, Crystal King, and Josh Edmondson. I still don't know how Trenton Briley ended up where he did on track, but that's a mystery for another day. Starting grid for the final main event of the evening. 14 minutes on the clock. Drake Mittag, Keaton Swain on the front row, Connor Barry and Thad Countryman behind them with Luke Knupp and Brody DeShore on row number 3. Keep an eye out for Knupp. He is going to be feisty. Winicki, Plumley, row 4 with Dashalet and Winkler, the rest of the top 10. Tyson Miller and Adam McAfee, 11th and 12th positions. Evan McFarlane and Cody Vanderveer alongside one another on row 7. Eric Jones and Trenton Briley behind them with Crystal King and Josh Edmondson, 17th and 18th spots. Hadley Boyce, Matthew Lindy through the field. Does not look as though Matthew Lindy is going to make it out on track. His technical issues have kept him out of contention for the entirety of the racing. Right. Quick break for my voice there. And for your ears as well. We hear the engines in song as off and away they go for the final time today. So 10 minutes for main event number 1, 12 minutes for main event number 2. And by the calculations, I would expect 2 more laps, but it could just be 1 more lap. We were close in that last main event. Who knows with this one? And the points are going to make things interesting, let's not forget. It's the accumulation over the course of the evening. It's not just about grabbing the checkered flag once. Connor Barry and Thad Countryman have grabbed a win apiece. Who will stand atop the podium? We're about to find out. 3 Triple Crown events in the Pro 4 National Series for 2025. This the first, the final, our penultimate round of the championship. Some of these drivers know this format could settle things. Mittag and Swain on the front row, Barry and Countryman on row 2. Here we go. In the rolling hills of Michigan, off and away, and Connor Barry's had a rocket of a launch. Challenges Swain through the opening corner, and as the leader holds on to his advantage, Swain holds on to second. It's going to be an action-packed 14 minutes of racing. Already door-to-door for the lead. Keaton Swain will be on the inside, down towards the S's. And so Drake Mittag continues to hold the point. Oh, there's a truck up and over. It's the Terminator, Tyson Miller. Ride with Luke Knupp, already past that Countryman, and now trying to get past Connor Barry as well. Remember, Luke Knupp's won 2 Triple Crown events in the past. Looks like 3 is going to slip him by. Swain and Mittag have been fighting for the better part of a lap. And 3 abreast they go into the final couple of corners. Luke Knup's going to send it, roll the outside line. Tries to get the cutback. He's got it. He's going to go to the lead. Drake Mittag will try and fight back. But Luke Knup's gone from 5th to 1st at the start of main event number 3. 1.5 miles complete, and these drivers aren't done. Let's take a look at the live points if we can. What does this mean? With Barry sat in 4th, you can see that unfortunately for Luke Knupp, he does not even show in the top 5. A position is worth a point. So Keaton Swain needs to find 2 more positions over Connor Barry to be able to be on top. Got to be careful there through the whoop section. Both of them getting a little bit out of sorts. Swain leans now on Mittag. Barry leans on the both of them. Through turn 8. Barry gets past Swain. Swain gets some contact from Countryman. Slip and sliding. Great save. Great car control from that Sim Coaches number 21. That forward beam. My goodness gracious me. So Swain now drops to 5th, but he's still in contention. That's all he needs to do. He's tied with that Countryman as well. Drake Mittag, Cody Winicki will also grab some healthy points if things finish as they are. A little bit further back in line, because Plumley's on the tail end of Nicholas Dachelet. Sean Winkler's there. Evan McFarlane's in the mix. Luke Knupp winning in main event number 3 would only get him up to 7. He's going to need to really have some great performances in the remaining part of the championship and hope that Barry struggles. Speaking of, Barry goes for the move. Now looking to try and get up to 2nd. And as he slides his way on forward, he mounts the berm as well. That Countryman almost mounts the rear end of Drake Mittag. It's physical towards the tail end of the lap here. Countryman drops a couple of spots. And now Mittag gets spun around. He was mounted on the side of Keaton Swain. Nicholas Dachelet gets turned in reaction to all of the chaos unfolding in front of him. This is the Triple Crown format coming alive. Hadley Boyce has also had some issues. 1 lap down in the 994. Incredible stuff going on right now, though, to say the least. 1.7, the gap between Knupp and Barry at the front of the field. We'll keep an eye on whether that closes with now 10 minutes left to go. Keaton Swain, through all of that, is now right back on the tail of Connor Barry as well. Our great team at Race Control is going to have some stuff to dig through. I think that's an understatement. Already been some points penalties, and Zachary Drapkin and Mason Prater are actually suspended from today's race. So if you're wondering where the red line all 56 is, where Mason Prater is as well, well, Race Control's had enough of what was happening with them. That's a bit more contact further behind, as I think that was Josh Edmondson, indeed with Cody Vanderveer behind him, but making some contact with Evan McFarlane. That's out through the bulb at turn 2 and 3. Drake Mittag and Luke Knupp currently tied for 5th in this event. So Mittag needs to avoid dropping any further from 7th. So keep an eye on that one too. Bit of leaning there from Josh Edmondson. In the Channel 199 sim racing car, the team that of course leads the team championship. Looks like they'll be in for a pretty good day as well, once again, with Barry up front. Edmondson in the top 10. Oh, they've got to be careful. A bit more contact as McFarlane now tries to respond. Not just trying to respond, but trying to fend off Van der Veer too. Ooh, Van der Veer gets some contact from McAfee behind. Team Gold 818 is going to take advantage of the slight stack up through turn 10. Does not make the move work though. Let's jump on board with Adam McAfee. Got to be careful as Crystal King's there as well. Turns the car, gets on power with the ability to put all 900 horsepower through all 4 wheels. Later on this season, or this year I should say, we'll have a Pro 2 National Series. That will all build to the Pro 2 and Pro 4s combining for our World Cup. And we'll crown our very first National Series World Champion at the end of the year. So much to look forward to on RaceSpotTV if we're actually being honest. These drivers have mentioned how much they look forward to some of the new things as well. I know still waiting for Wheatland, we're still waiting for some stuff on these trucks to get updated as well, but these drivers stay so committed week in and week out. It's great to continue being able to see these great races, put a platform for them forward as well. And again, swear the likes of our partners at APV Simulators, Team Real Racing, title partners for 2025, all come on board. Six and a half minutes left to go, so we've officially worked past the halfway mark of this race. It's third and final main event of the night. Has gotten quite single file, if we're being honest. Drivers have just settled into the rhythm, the routine. Crystal King started the first main event in 13th. Makes her way up to 12th. At least momentarily. Contact there. Now what's happened to Drake Mittag, who's dropping down the timing screens? Nicholas Dachelet shows up out of nowhere. Looks like Mittag might just be having some technical issues. He's still there in 7th. We'll keep an eye on whether that does mean that Luke Knupp would move up to 5th. That would be a couple of extra points in the championship. Remember, that live standings in the top right is the accumulation of the race points through the Triple Crown event so far. And we're going to see a fight at the front, you'd assume, now that these two have gotten back together. New colors for Luke Knupp, and a familiar paint for Connor Barry. They're going to go wheel to wheel for the final 5 minutes of this race. These are the two previous drivers that have won Triple Crown events in 2024. Had some success in terms of the individual race wins. Connor Barry and Luke Knupp had 3 race wins apiece in Triple Crown events coming into the night. Barry, of course, has won 1. Knupp would love to make sure it's 4 apiece leaving the night. But don't discount Keaton Swain. All it takes here is for Connor Barry to be dropped down to 3rd and Swain to finish 1st, and suddenly we're tied on points, if I've done my math correctly. Barry's got to be very careful, but we know just how intelligent he can be with his racecraft. Over the jump, down at turn 6 once again. Through the whoops. It's now 3 within 0.6 of a second. Cody Winicki, Brody DeSure, 4th and 5th behind them as well. Some good, hard, respectful racing at the front. With what is going to be 3 to go. Barry loses some momentum. Swain can't quite take advantage. definite contact between the two of them. That's without a shadow of a doubt. And does Barry focus forward, or is he going to be more focused behind in the rearview mirror? Patient on power from Keaton Swain. Remember, 1,000 days and counting since Swain has won in the iRacing National Series. But an ever-present threat. That is a guarantee. You see Keaton Swain on the entry list, you know you have to deal with it. So 2 laps confirmed at the line. Connor Barry has been able to cycle back to the tail end of the race leader. Love this Triple Crown format. 2 more times we'll do it this Pro 4 season. So these drivers are all going to be learning a bit more about it the more we do it. We've only done it 3 times before. 3 more times this Pro 4 National Series season. We'll get to do it again. Great look from above. This is where Barry just seems to be so much better. Down to turn 6, over the crest of the jump. Canuck powers around the outside to hold on for the time being. Barry forces his way up the inside, tries to expose the door. Now over this jump, you've got to be turning before you're even in the air. Keaton Swain in the hot seat. Will he be a friend of Luke Canuck here? Can he disrupt the rhythm of Barry sufficiently? No, Barry slides back into line. Winicki closed his margin as well. 4 within a second, heading on to the final lap. Swain gets turned. He was making contact with Barry. Winicki shoved him as well. All that opened up the advantage heading on to the final 1.5 miles. Connor Barry's going to be running out of time, running out of distance. And Luke Canuck has just got to hold on here to what would be a quite remarkable fight back. Through the whoops for the final time into turn 7. Championship leader on the hunt in second. And confirmation with time winding down to 0. This is that final lap. 12 electric laps in this 3rd and final main event. And a couple of times we thought Luke Canuck might have felt the pressure. He's had to fight his way back to the very front of the field. For the 4th time in his Triple Crown career, it will be Luke Canuck grabbing the checkered flag, but behind him, the points leader for the 3rd time in a row. It will be Connor Barry victorious in 2025. He grabs the 2nd Triple Crown win in his career. The points lead extends. The championship dominance extends. What will we see in a week's time when we head off to the Firebird Motorsport Park? And then we'll get into our post-race coverage. Unofficial top 3 sees Connor Barry at the top, but Luke Canuck pushed all the way to the end. A fight back from main event 1 to main event 3. Keaton Swain grabs the 3rd spot on the podium, second on the podium, 3rd in this race, with Cody Winicki, Brody DeSure, Thad Countryman, and then Drake Mittag, the top 7. Bit of a gap back to Josh Edmondson, Sean Winkler, and Evan McFarlane. Thad Countryman doing enough to be provisionally 3rd as well in the Triple Crown event points. Nicholas Dachelet, Cody Vanderveer, and then Crystal King relatively close between them with Briley, Plumley, Jones, Miller, McAfee, and then Boyce and Lindy not officially finishing. before we dive into the post-race, let's see if we can quickly bring the point situation back up once more and just give you a rundown of how things wrapped up after 3 intense races. Remember, we started with 10 minutes, then to 12, then to 14, and this is the top 10. So Connor Barry and Keaton Swain, 4 positions effectively separate them. Countryman, another 4 back in third with Winicki, and then Mittag and Knupp tied on points. I believe tiebreaker will see Knupp grab 5th, given that he won one of our races. So Shore, Dashley, Winkler, and Edmondson, the rest of the top 10. So a quick look at how things will break down, and we'll dive into that plenty more as we get through the rest of our season. Let's go down, though, have a chat with, well, I'm sure, a very, very happy Connor Barry, a 3rd race win of the year. Connor, talk us through that event from your perspective as well, because 1 win, 2 second places, it couldn't really get much better, could it?
No, it definitely was fun. I qualified first, which is crazy here because I am usually like so slow here. So for me to go out there and qualify first, like that is absolutely like that is like awesome. And then we went out and won in the first one, and then we started P8, and then I worked my way up to P2, which then it had me starting in P3 again. And then I got passed by the 5 on lap 2, I think, and then I knew that he got the first fast, so I knew that I had to get around Drake. And then I got around him, and I had some speed on him, but it's just so hard to pass here and pass here and pass here and pass here in a way where it's clean. So I had to settle for second, and I was able to go out there and win my 3rd one. So it definitely was good, and we are still first in points. And now we go to Firebird, I believe, which is my favorite track. So so I think that we are in very good shape.
I mean, you're saying you're in good shape, Connor. What were you doing in the off season between last year and this year, right? Because 3 wins in a row, that's pretty spectacular. If you win next week, that will be your 20th win in the National Series.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the mindset has changed. I went from before where I knew that I was fast, but I used to get like so, I would say, like psyched out over it, to where now I'm focused on being calm and just being smart and smooth, and it definitely has worked. This is the best I have ever felt in this. So it's definitely going to be a good season, and it's only the start. So it's for sure going to be a good one.
That's ominous. It's only a start. Congratulations, Connor. We'll see you next week from Firebird.
Thank you.
From Connor Barry, we will head over to Keaton Swain, who joins us in the broadcast booth. Now, Keaton, looked like a fun event from your perspective. Talk us through this Triple Crown race from Bark River.
Yeah, it was a battle out there. I'd say I think we finished 3rd in all of them, so not too bad. Definitely didn't have the speed some of the other guys had, so we have to kind of go back to the drawing board on that and see where we're missing time, but you can never complain about being consistent, up on the podium each race and coming home 2nd overall. So overall, pretty good night.
Talk to me as well. We missed you, of course, last time we went racing, which means effectively your drop round's being used in the championship. How does that affect your mindset, your mentality going through the rest of the championship?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely you can't, make any of your own mistakes that'll put you out of the race or put yourself in a position where you're going to get ran over and, turned upside down or something. And there was a couple of sketchy moments tonight, that berm turn where it can catch your truck in the wall can get pretty hectic at times. And it's kind of a hit or miss whether you get stuck in there when you go too wide through there. So luckily we came out of there without any issues for the most part. But yeah, it's definitely, you know, affects your mindset just knowing that you can't make any mistakes because you can't, I don't have a drop round anymore, pretty much. So it can be tough at times.
Great to have you back, Keaton. We'll see you next week from the Firebird Motorsports Park.
Thank you. Just real quickly, I got to thank Factory Sim Sport, my team, and everyone at Sim Coaches, and everyone that helps Connors League, and you guys for doing the broadcast. Thank you.
Great to catch up with Keaton. Let's catch up with Thad Countryman, who not only grabbed the win in main event number 2, but 3rd on the podium. Thad, you must be delighted with how today's action went off here at Bark River.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I was happy to get a win in there. Crazy racing.
Yeah, tell me how the format leads to that kind of racing, right? Because, you know, we just talked to Connor and to Keaton, who both had podiums across the board. You were up there at the front as well. Even with those inverts, it's crazy how consistent you are able to be.
Yeah, I kind of just race as hard as I can at the beginning, and if I end up in a really good spot, I just try to hold that because I know people behind me are going to be pushing hard, and if I drop back a couple spots, kind of hope the invert to help me out a little bit, and then just go on, do the same thing with the next race.
Well, congratulations, Thad. Your first victory in the National Series, hopefully the first of many.
Yep, thank you. I'd like to thank everybody at Team Gold and Trenton, Tyler, Luke, Adam, Brandon, all those guys, Joel. You guys for putting on a good broadcast. Thank you.
That Countryman joins us in the broadcast booth. Last but not least, winner of main event number 3, it's Luke Knupp. And Luke, a brand new paint scheme for your truck, but you really had to work to show it off after how things played out for you. But a good fight back, all things considered. Talk us through the evening.
Yeah, it was a solid evening. Other than the first race, I wish I could throw that completely away. That was just, I don't know, I qualified like crap and then just tried to salvage a good first race, and then it just went backwards instantly. So salvaged a 13th, and then had a great second race to get up to 5th, and then somehow went 5th the first and that last one on the first lap, and then kind of checked out, but Connor kept me honest there at the end. But just glad to get back to the winning ways in my APV simulator number 5 Pro 4. You know, they came on board big for the rest of the season, and I'm really excited to have them as my title sponsor, and hopefully get them more solid results throughout the rest of the season.
Let's talk about the rest of the season, because we've got, 4 rounds in a row, so it's going to be pretty intense for the next month. We're off to Firebird next week. Connor's just told us that's his favorite track of all. How do you feel about that track in particular?
That's one of my favorite tracks. Actually, you know, I didn't have the best results there, but we ended up winning a Triple Crown race actually there last season, and gave us a shot to go win the championship. So just gonna try to put in a lot of work. You know, like you said, we don't have as much time, so but we all have a good baseline, so ready to get after it and see how we do.
Congratulations, Luke. See you next week from Firebird.
For sure. Thank you, guys.
Always great to catch up with the drivers as they give us a bit of their time, and we wind things up in the Pro 4 National Series. Here is confirmation of our schedule. It's going to be helter-skelter until April the 2nd for these drivers. Firebird up next, Streets of Long Beach. Huh, that's going to be fun. Can we convince Robbie Gordon to put some jumps out there in iRacing? We'll have to wait and see. After that, it's continuing back on a more normal sort of sense, you would argue. Although I think one thing that we still have to keep in mind, 2 more Triple Crown events to come. What a day, what an evening from the Bark River International Raceway, the rolling hills of Michigan Sea. Luke cannot win the final main event. Connor Barry wins, though, the Triple Crown event overall. We'll see you next time on RaceSpotTV. Thanks for joining us for all the action. Once again, reigning supreme, Connor Barry, the 3-time iRacing Short Course National Series champion.
One thing I would like to tell my competitors is the job is not done yet.
You can see that Luke Knupp wants to end the season on a high, did not want the fight to end like this.
Second place in the championship, but that's not over yet.
But the championship leaders banging and rubbing doors on the run towards the line. Oh. Connor Barry tried everything. Experience from the real world to the virtual as well, because then Dashley makes a mistake.
It's going to be a new Dashlett this year, so hopefully this means that I'll be running up front more.
And history made! Team Gold and Briley on top.
One thing I'd like to tell all the competitors for 2025 is watch out, Team Gold's coming.
The 2-year wait for victory lane may continue for Keaton Swain.
Winning is important. You know, I show up to win, so obviously winning is everything.